Hey everybody, welcome back. So today we are going to be completely botching the Flexo crab fly. Very excited about this. Still got it done, but totally a struggle. So let's do this. Materials you're going to need: some tan thread, 210, a long shank saltwater hook, some original lead medium eyes, ultra chenille in tan, some Flexo cord, 1/4 inch, and some eyeballs of your choosing. You can use homemade ones. I got these, so I'm happy about them. So you're going to start by getting your hook in your vise, getting it all set up, and make sure that it's even. From there, you're going to do the easiest part of this fly, which is making sure that the shank of the hook is completely covered with this tan 210. Nice covering wraps all the way into the bend of the hook. So we're going to bring our thread back to the middle of our hook shank, and from there we're going to tie in some lead eyes. This fly is difficult enough to make. I am blatantly going to put some super glue on these eyes. I just don't care. I want it to last forever at this point. And here's where we are going to start to struggle bus. We're going to get our 1/4 piece of Flexo cord, and this stuff is just a joy to work with, let me tell you. We're going to cut it so that it's a little bit longer than our hook shank, because as we spread it, it's going to have to get in there. Now you're going to have to basically weasel it, wiggle it over the hook shank and the dumbbell eyes without getting the eye of the hook to go through it. From there, what we're going to do is you're going to take a couple nice easy wraps around the end of the Flexo cord, trying to hold it in place. It's going to pop out. You're going to say some wordy dirts. It could happen 3 or 4 times, and that's okay. You're going to wrap, and you're going to make it as tight as you possibly can. At this point, after all of the end of the Flexo cord is trapped, you're going to just whip finish. Using a tool is kind of ridiculous at this point, so if you know how to use your fingers, use your fingers. If not, this is a good learning opportunity. I failed. Go ahead and cut your string on this side, and don't be afraid to blatantly put some super glue on that. The next part of this is getting the other side of the Flexo cord to adhere to the hook. The first thing you want to do is figure out how big you want your little crab body to be. And from there, remember where the Flexo cord actually is whenever it's fully extended. See where my finger is? So what we're going to do is take a couple of nice loose wraps, because you want to be able to get that string over the eye of the hook as you push back your Flexo cord. And this is going to be a struggle bus. No matter what you do, it's going to be a struggle. Get that back in there. And fail. And try a different technique. So try whatever works for you. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to get the job done. Haha, we did it. So once you get it to where it's staying where you want it to be, wrap it and put as much tension as you possibly can on the string. The likelihood is you will break it. Don't be upset. Don't say any bad words. I mean, you can if you want. Nobody cares. Nobody's probably around you while you're doing this. If you're unlucky enough to accidentally break your cord, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Just get your bobbin rethreaded and go ahead and wrap right at the spot, trapping that string back over itself, and continue on. You don't have to take everything down. It's not a problem at all. Cut all your little loosies and keep on trucking. We're going to go ahead and whip finish this side next. And the extremely hard part of this fly is done. Huzzah! From here, you're going to use an old pair of scissors to gnaw off as much of the excess Flexo cord as you can. Just be patient and just keep on just trying to snip it off. I'm super surprised that I was able to get as much off for this video because usually I'm struggling along. Next, we're going to take our lighter or a cautery tool if you have it, and we are actually going to melt the end of the Flexo cord, making sure that all of the pieces melt together. You should definitely touch it while it's really hot and burn yourself. Good job. As you melt these pieces down, you want to make sure that they are connected to the ones next to them. That'll create a ring that helps it stay on the end of the hook shank next to the eye of the hook without falling off because you've melted that Flexo cord together. As you can see, I flail my arms in excitement because I had accomplished it. Now is where we get to do all of the crabby extras. First, we're going to work on some legs. So we are going to take our ultra chenille. We're going to cut it into 4 pieces, 2 longer pieces and 2 shorter pieces. The 2 short pieces are for the back legs. The 2 longer pieces are for our claws. Let's work on these claws, shall we? You're going to take your chenille and you're going to fold it in half. And you are going to struggle to tie a knot in the chenille. So just go ahead, get on in there, because you don't want to waste any, because it's hard to find. You gotta wait forever for it to come, or find it somewhere at some store. And you're gonna use as small pieces you can, and struggle to get it in there, because you need your little baby claws. Whew! Okay, good. Alright, there's 2 different ways that you can do this. You can do the little loop and use the loop for the claw, or you can just tie the open end and then the leg part will be the loop. I mean, truthfully, you can do it either way you want. Nobody's gonna yell at you, I promise. We'll go ahead and finish making our claws here after I struggle around for a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim the claws. We're going to cut it in half, right? And then we're going to do it on an angle. And I was really scared that I cut one of these too short, but it ended up looking really cute afterwards. And the other one, we're going to do those too. Next, you're going to take your lighter and you are going to lightly toast the ends of these claws. Or like me, you can light it on fire and then burn yourself. That's also an option. This gives the claw a nice little tapered look on the edge. You also want to take your lighter and just go over the claw arm. This will just give it a thinner look and make it look all pretty. From here, we're going to take it up a notch. And we're going to take our threader. We're going to figure out which side you want to be the back of your fly. And I highly recommend working on the inner set of back legs first, right? We're going to figure out where we want those to be. And it's okay if you have to do this a couple of times. It's not the end of the world by any means. Once you get it where you want it, you're going to stick your chenille in there into the threader and pull it through the Flexo cord, and that way you have a leg right, well, two legs right where you want them. And you're going to repeat this step on the outside, because if you did the inner legs first, then it's much easier to just stick at that right on the edge and out and do your outer legs. Well, that went surprisingly easy. I think it's time we struggle again. But first, just because it's so exciting, I'm going to put some trusty super glue right on these legs. It's just going to help hold them in place. It is going to sink right into the Flexo cord. Alright, so next you're going to take your threader and tediously thread it cattywampus through the Flexo cord and come out where you want one of your claws to be. Before you stick it in, you want to measure and see how long you want it to be and trim it off so that the end can be inside of the crab body. If you guys know how to get the chenille off of the threader while it's inside of the crab body, please tell me, because every time I'm just struggling along, just wiggling and struggling. Oh, oh no. Well, if you pull a strand of your Flexo cord off, then you have to go back and either fix it or cut it off. I'm going to glue it. That's my choice. But in the meantime, we're going to get our other legs set up here and our eyes. Just repeat your previous struggle step and get it in there. Once you've fought with your crab legs and you have all 6 of them where you are super surprised that they actually look good, super glue everything in place. And then if you're like me, struggle with the little broken pieces that you have destroyed to try to get it all looking normal again. From here, you're going to figure out where you want your eyeballs to be, and you are going to trim them so that they are almost a little bit past the shank of the hook. And that way, whenever you super glue them in place, they will stick in there and touch something. You can trim both of them now, that's fine. The one thing that you should make sure you don't do while you're doing this is super glue the eyeballs to your fingers, which, as you can see, I immediately do. And I flung the eyeball. And we're going to do our other eye and just hopefully not make a hot drippy mess where I drip super glue all over the table, which I did. Let's just close this up. I clearly can't be trusted. Next, we're going to trim our back legs. And break out the all dangerous lighter and crisp those little ends. Super dangerous. I can't seem to not burn myself. At this point, the majority of our fly is done. Isn't it beautiful? Now we are going to take some UV light glue and I'm going to put a dab next to all of my legs. This is going to help this stay in place. You can do halvesies if you want, to where you do the back half of the fly and then you turn it around and do the front half. Truthfully, you can do either one that you want. And just coat things just to give them a dab so that whenever, after you get that first fish on, you don't lose an eyeball or claw. Now we get to break out our art skills, and you are just going to model the shell and the legs with little brown spots, streaks, whatever you'd prefer. This is just to give it a more natural kind of look to the shell and the legs. If you've ever seen a crab in the wild, you'd know. And we're just going to put a touch of red on the claws. If you want to do blue, you can, but I like the little red. It's super cute. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a completed crab. I'm very impressed. We struggled through it, but we did it. He's done.